I'm going to speak about this book, Ancient Secrets of a Master Healer. It's the #1 bestseller right now. It's a great read. It's easy. There's recipes in here that there's things in your kitchen that you can just create to help yourself. And right now, when people are kind of afraid to leave their home, this book truly is invaluable. And it's also a fun book to read. Dr. Naram would leave his office at 2:30 in the morning and go out and put blankets on homeless people and then feed stray dogs. So when you have teachers like this, you tend to start to believe anything that they say because they are the living proof. You know, they're so healthy and happy. And so I was excited when Dr. Clint Rogers followed Dr. Naram for 10 years and documented everything. And so the book, it's quite pleasant, but when you buy the book, you put your receipt number on myancientsecrets.com, and I'll have a slide about that. Then you have access after each chapter to watch videos of Dr. Naram actually speaking. And they're quick little videos, but you love watching him and hearing his voice. And so anything that you learned and you read, then you have this visual to back it up. So I really like the style in which he did this, and there's journaling right in the book, and they just couldn't have made it easier to grasp the concepts. And what's really fun is these concepts are 2,500 years old. They are translated from 2,500-year-old Vedic scriptures on how to bring miracles into your life, how to be healthy and vibrant at any age, how to live past 100 years old in incredible health. I'm happy about that because my grandmother lived to almost 104, and we would giggle because if you dropped a quarter on the ground, she could bend down, pick it up, and stand up gracefully, more gracefully than anyone. You didn't hear a creak, a click, and nothing. And so I know that I have the genealogy for it. But honestly, like right before this pandemic started, I was feeling rather like that I was losing my luster for life. And every time I would stand up and sit down, I would make a noise like, oh, you know, and I just was feeling like, is this it? Was this all that I have to offer the world? Am I going out like this? You know, I really was feeling rather blasé. And next thing you know, I get an email from Dr. Rogers saying that he was going to do a Zoom talk and would I like to join it. And I'm so grateful because technology doesn't usually afford me to do that. I don't have great internet where I live, and I don't know so much about technology sometimes, so it was quite a miracle for me to make that call. But when he reintroduced these things that Dr. Naram told me 15 years ago that I was using 15 years ago, and then I started to use them again, my skin has changed. I am running. When I started this, I would walk downhill and my left knee would hurt. I am running. I mean running 1.5 miles, hiking 5 miles, no pain. Even one day my daughter and I were FaceTiming and she was like, Mom, I think I'm not going to FaceTime anymore. You don't look so good. You look kind of old and wrinkly. And I was like, I know, I'm looking at this screen. I started eating ghee, not knowing that it would help my skin, just because we were working on that. We were making ghee at home. It was one of the things we were reading about in the book. And within weeks of eating the ghee, I had a little appointment with an Ayurvedic doctor in India over the phone, the best $30 I've ever spent. And I said, I swear, either I can't see very well, but I don't see the wrinkles anymore, and I don't see the crinkly. And even my daughter said the other day, Mom, what are you doing? You don't look old anymore. You look great. And I said, could it be the ghee? It's the only thing I've done differently. And he giggled, and he kept giggling through the rest of it because he said, all the things that you're saying are different. I said, my skin feels velvety now. He said, absolutely. The ghee, it heals your gut. And our skin is a reflection of what's going on inside. And it also it takes the animal products that have attached to the vessels in our body, it pulls it off so it decreases your cholesterol. And just simple.
And here you are with some grandkids.
These are my grandbabies, yes.
And you're researching your books.
I had just gotten it. I was waiting for it. And they also had viewed the calls. And one of the calls that Dr. Naram has some orphanages that he financially backed, and he recently passed. And they really thought that children would feel alone. So on one of our calls, they just ask each one of us to say, I love you and I'm with you. And my grandchildren will say it now to people, like they see the people in the Mass and they'll be like, I love you and I'm with you. They say it to each other, they say it to me, but they say, I love you and I'm with you. And this is Dr. Pankaj Naram with Dr. Clint Rogers. And Dr. Pankaj Naram has treated millions of people. He was the doctor of the Dalai Lama, the doctor of Mother Teresa. He is the most famous pulse doctor in the world. He recently passed. Dr. Clint Rogers followed him for 10 years and just documented with video and then created this beautiful book, which I'm sure more books are going to come because the stories are endless. And if you put your receipt in, you can get on phone calls too, where people, like in the book, a young girl was in a coma. And they used milk on one side, a bowl of milk and a bowl of onions, and put some herbs in her navel. Not only did she come out of the coma, 3 other women in the room came out of comas. One of them had been in there for like a year. And so on one of the calls, that young girl got on the call, but she was 21 now. And so so then you really can feel that you can really feel the stories even more. So it's a very multidimensional, this group of healers.
Yeah, and the fact that you're incorporating it into your work.
So this man here is in his 70s. I think he's 75 if I'm not mistaken. He's Mr. India 5 times and is now going for 6. So like, see, when I see this, then I want to do whatever they say. If someone is 100 pounds overweight and they're telling me to eat something or do something, I would tend not to listen. But when somebody is looking like this, the proof is in the pudding, I say, and I really would want to do whatever they say. I have to tell you, I feel healthier than I have felt in decades. And I feel like God just dropped this book in my lap, you know, at the beginning of this pandemic. Actually, the book hadn't come out yet, but Dr. Rogers was reading chapters of it to us on these calls. And I just feel like it was such divine intervention for me, and it just turned my path into where, like, I feel like I'm 28 years old. And I will have my 60th birthday soon in October.
That's wonderful.
You know, I'm boogie boarding, jogging. I'm the only one who can keep up with my grandchildren. My daughter and their father can't keep up like I can. So.